It's been a long day of sitting in chairs, so if you guys will indulge me for just 1 second, can I get you guys to stand up, please? Don't be shy. We're all young, healthy, energetic. Okay. So would everyone who has not been directly affected by cancer, meaning either they haven't been diagnosed, somebody in their family has not been diagnosed, or one of their friends has not been diagnosed, please go ahead and sit down. Okay, so if you look around, you're talking about basically everybody. So go ahead and have a seat. Obviously, I was trying to prove a point there, but I was also trying to get the blood flowing just a little bit. Please go back to your computers. I think this is the one place that if you're actually concentrating and focused on your computer instead of the person on stage, it's a compliment. So I want to talk to you guys today about two things. One is LiveStrong, who we are as an organization and what we're doing. And second, we're introducing here at this conference a new app that actually we just shipped yesterday to Apple, so that'll be coming out soon. But I was here this morning listening to Seth talking about tribes and leaders and thinking about all of you standing up and thinking about cancer survivors around the world, how they really form, in some ways, a very tight-knit tribe. And this little yellow wristband has become quite a symbol for that tribe. And when I was thinking about leaders, obviously the founder of our organization, Lance Armstrong, came to mind as somebody who really leads a movement. And he was obviously a cancer patient back in the mid-90s and then had a tremendous amount of athletic success, started a nonprofit that has really taken off. And today, actually, we petitioned the United Nations to host a special assembly around non-communicable diseases. And so this is a screenshot from earlier today where leaders from around the world came to New York to talk about cancer, talk about non-communicable diseases, and try to figure out ways of addressing the needs of cancer survivors in their countries. So this family, this tribe of cancer supporters, survivors, and LiveStrong, what does LiveStrong do? Well, LiveStrong provides direct service for people affected by cancer, and we also empower them to take action. So I work on that first part of it, the direct service part, and a big way that we do that is through navigation, but we also develop a number of different programs and initiatives and try to affect policy to make the lives better for anybody who is battling this disease. And really the process that we use for doing that is pretty simple. Number one, we listen. So we listen to cancer survivors, we listen to experts, we listen to cancer researchers, to healthcare providers, and then we try to figure out where the gaps are so that we can design things that fill those gaps. We think we found one, and that this app that we've built will fill a gap that currently exists. And once we've listened, defined a gap, designed a product, or designed a program, then we collaborate. We look to other organizations, we look to other groups to really work closely with them to have a much larger impact than we could ever possibly have on our own. So in terms of listening, specifically last year we launched this big survey. We talked to over 8,000 cancer survivors and asked them about their experience and came back with all kinds of data and information from that. There was one particular piece of data that I found interesting, and that was that 85% of them said that their medical care would improve if they could share their health information electronically with their healthcare team. And that was pretty astounding. It's not that, I mean, they're saying that medically they could be treated better if they could share that information. So we are investing in electronic health and trying to figure out ways of making sure that the patient's voice is heard in those conversations. When we hear about electronic medical records, electronic health records, typically those are institutional conversations. Those are business conversations. Those usually talk about efficiencies that can happen at an institutional level. Rarely are those conversations focused on the patient and on the patient's life and how the patient's life can be improved by using technology. And that's something that we're hoping to continue to push to make sure that the patient's voice is heard. So in terms of design, we've come up with an iPad app. We believe that certainly the near-term future in technology is in portable devices, and that by designing an app that cancer patients can download for free and use and apply, really do three things with it. One, access information easily. Two, store information easily. And then three, share information. So I'm going to go in and talk about all these different features in the app. You know, I just heard the last person here talking about that she doesn't like apps, and that's fine. And again, I'll go ahead and preempt a question. This app is not for everybody. You know, this app is for a certain few, and this is the first step for us. This is the first step in diving into a very important market, diving into a very important field, and making sure that, like I said, the patient voice is heard in these conversations around technology. So let's dive into this app. If I can get it. So it's a cancer guide and a tracker. And this is the home screen. There's a lot of information there, a lot of different points that can be accessed. And I'm going to go through each one of them, and I'll come back to this in just a little bit. So obviously, after downloading the app, somebody would put in their username and password, and that is the only two pieces of information that we are going to collect from that individual. So that's only personal information we're going to keep, and that's simply so that the person can access their information if they lose their password. All the other information is stored locally on their device. That's a really important concept because it means that the patient is going to be in control of that information and it's going to be portable. Now, obviously, we are collecting some information in an aggregate form, and it's really purely just what pages and what different pieces of the app are being used, just so we can make the future versions of it better. So there's a place to keep all the pertinent contact information. There's a place that has all the important records that somebody needs to have, whether it's health directives, living will, guardianship papers for children, and showing where each of those are kept. The next step is a journal feature. So this will allow the person to actually enter in journal entries as they're going through their cancer journey. And one feature of this that I find just really interesting is the ability to record audio. So if you think about it, a patient sits down with their doctor, and maybe they have 5 minutes. 5 minutes this week, that's the only interaction they're going to have with their doctor. But they hit record, and just like the last speakers were talking about, the relationship they have with that doctor, being able to hit record and record that conversation. But now, keeping that conversation in one place with all their other information and time-stamped. So they can go back and look and hear what happened 2 weeks ago, compare it with other things that happened as well. It's a small feature, but I think it's something that could be really important. The next piece is our guidebook. So with the input from hundreds of cancer survivors, we developed the LiveStrong Guidebook. It's a 2-part book that we give out for free to cancer patients. And literally hundreds of cancer survivors came with their 3-ring binders to help us figure out how to best compile all the information that they captured, that they needed when they were going through their journey. And so we put it all into these 2 books, and now we've digitized it. It's a little over 200 pages there, and it goes through the entire cancer continuum. So it starts out at diagnosis, it works its way through treatment, talks about advanced cancer, talks about end-of-life issues, talks about healthy living, and post-treatment. The next part of the app is a calendaring function, and it's being able to track all the different things that somebody is going through. And so whether it's their appointments, their treatments, their medications, and their symptoms, they can all keep it in one place and track all that information. So I'm going to jump into my symptoms, because this is patient-reported information that they are tracking, and this can become an incredibly useful tool to share information back with their healthcare providers. Right now we're tracking 3 things. The first is general health, the second is pain, and the third is distress. So they can track that, and then they can look at it daily, weekly, monthly. So again, I'm thinking about that 5 minutes that a patient has with their doctor. And what's the first question the doctor's going to ask the patient? How have you been feeling? You know, that's a pretty loaded question. And it's very difficult to answer that question objectively and give information back to the doctor that can actually be used. And so this becomes a very interesting conversation when you can simply show a different chart for the different things that the person has been experiencing and can look at different events that have happened through that patient's treatment and what may have triggered some of the different things that have happened. So really useful information that a healthcare team could use to really tailor or modify the way that they treat their patient. And finally, this is the part that I work on every day. This is connecting cancer patients to direct service to support that they need, and it's just a click away. So there are, in the upper right-hand corner, 4 different links there. The first, Get Started Here, this goes directly to an online intake form that goes to the navigation team at LiveStrong. There's a whole team of professionals that every day work over the phone, online, and in person with people affected by cancer, delivering really needed services. I'll talk about those services here in a sec. The second link is around making treatment decisions. We partner with Nexcura that has a whole team of doctors that create all these different treatment options, or kind of the treatment options for the most common types of cancer. The next one, finding clinical trials. Obviously, clinical trials are a huge part of cancer treatment, and accessing them can become really the matter of life or death for many people. So by making it easy for our clients, our patients, to match to any available clinical trial is a big part of what we do. And finally, the last link there goes to a post-treatment care plan. That's a really easy tool for somebody coming off of treatment to enter in all their information and print out a summary that shows all the issues that they may face moving forward. So what are the areas of support that we offer? It's really 5 things. The first is around paying for treatment. Cancer treatment is expensive. So dealing with the insurance companies, dealing with employers, figuring out any kind of copay assistance, all those things become very important, and we have a whole team and we partner with an organization to provide all those different services. The second is around emotional support. We have professionals on staff that have one-to-one support services for anyone affected by cancer, helping them deal with whatever barrier, whatever issue they're facing at the time. We can also do peer-to-peer matching. I know that's something we've been talking a lot about. That's something that we do quite a bit of. We can match a cancer patient to a cancer survivor based on a number of different criteria. And that's a really unique peer support mechanism. Next, fertility. So many cancer treatments and some cancers can cause infertility or sterility in people. And so what we do is, number 1, highlight the risk. And then number 2, really reduce the cost barrier for people to preserve their fertility, either through sperm banking or through egg or embryo freezing, so that if they choose after treatment, they can have children of their own. And next, we provide information to help them understand what their treatment options are. I want to be real clear. We do not provide any medical advice. We never tell somebody where to be treated or what treatment they should go on. What we try to do is inform them, give them all the tools, all the information, all the things that they need to be able to make an informed decision on their own. They're going to have to make a bunch of decisions as they go through treatment. We want it to be informed decisions, and we want them to be in an emotionally stable place to be able to make those decisions. And finally, as I mentioned, we can help them match to any available clinical trial. We also connect people to any available local resource that we trust, that we know, and become that trusted one stop for them that can give them access to all the best information, the best tools, and the best resources that are out there. So again, this is the app. It'll be available just as soon as Apple releases it, I guess. And my hope is that the thousands and thousands of cancer patients download it, use it, and then give us feedback, because this is version 1, obviously, of this. And we created it using this methodology. You know, we listened, we designed it, and now the third part, collaborate. And that's where all of you and all your organizations can come in. We would like to work with you. So consider this app just another way of engaging with LiveStrong. Figure out ways to propel that app to the next level. What are the next features that we can put in there? What are the ways that we can use that app to engage with other systems and to make life better for the people that are going through what's probably the most challenging time in their lives? So thank you guys very much. I am literally on time, and live strong.